So, today's video is going to be on the battle of the half face masks, and this is of two particular models. It is of the Scott Aviva, if that was the name of it and I remember it correctly, and the MSA Advantage 410. I'm pretty sure that was the name of both of them. But the important thing is, it's the MSA and Scott 40mm half face respirators. Which is better, because they're both quite similar in retail price. In the UK they're about £30 to £40 each, which is quite a bit for a half-face respirator, but if you're buying a brand new one from a sort of good mask company, I suppose it's not too bad. And if you were going to use it every day, you know, in a job, that's certainly not a bad piece of money. So, they're both pretty similar in weight. This isn't going to be one of those reviews where I put them both on like scales and we go, which one is exactly, you know, weighs this much, you know, and all that factors. It's going to be what fits the best to my face in particular, how well they support the weight of filters, what I find more comfortable. I've also got my glasses over there, so what I'm going to do in a moment when I put both the masks on is test how well do they fit with my glasses. So both are kind of similar in a way. Obviously they're half face masks, they both take a 40mm filter at the front. Now the straps adjust in a different way on the MSA. As you can see there, it's got this weird kind of nose clamp thing. You lift that up to adjust the straps and you clamp them back, so that's quite a good feature. It stops the straps sliding around. But otherwise the buckles and everything are quite different. Also, it should be pointed out the MSA has dual exhale valves, the Scott one just has one on one side, but the Scott one has a cool feature where you can pressure check it using the exhale valve, which is actually quite cool. So we're going to talk about the features. I'll wear one and then the other. They both kind of use the same skull harness kind of cap thing. I will say I prefer the Scott one actually for that, because the Scott one has a kind of rubberized one that moulds better to your head, where the MSA kind of has the cheapo plastic one. There's nothing wrong with that, but again, I'd rather have a flexible rubber one. In terms of like latches at the back, I think the sort of MSA one is a bit better in this regard because it's got a more durable one. They're both not bad on either of these, but with these, you know, obviously, because that's going to be taking a bit of tension all the time, you want the one that's the strongest. So both these masks were recommended to me by Laserpoint Productions, and he wanted me to sort of do videos on them. He's donated a lot to the channel, so a big thank you to him as always. And, you know, which of these would I prefer? I think he said now he's got both. He prefers the MSA. I think I'm probably going to go more with the MSA as well. But all we'll do is we'll put the Scott one on first, and then we'll go over the MSA. So, with both of these, how you put them on is we'll get the head harness up first. Or, I'll tell you what, I'll tell you how I put them on, because sometimes different manufacturers recommend different methods. Is to get the bit that you put behind your neck, and you do that first. So then that's behind your neck, and even if you're not wearing the mask, it sits there. Then what you do, put that up here, pull this bit over. There we are. So, annoying little bit of strap there that sometimes gets in the way, but otherwise that's on. So what we can do now is obviously just do some minor adjustments of the straps to get it tight or whatever. You want it obviously tight enough that it sticks well to your face, but not so tight it's uncomfortable. So that's fairly good. It's causing a bit of pressure there, you can see on my sort of bridge of my sort of cheeks there. So, both of these masks are designed to work well with a small filter. So let's just put a Scott particulate filter on. Obviously it works fine with that. Absolutely no problems whatsoever. This mask doesn't seem to move away from my head no matter the direction. However, the strap at the back, if I tilt my head up, that does put a lot of pressure on the small of my neck. Okay, so let's use the thing to check if the mask pressurizes. Yeah, it pressurizes. So, straps are certainly not uncomfortable. That bit works quite well. As I said, I like the fact this is a rubberized one because it puts less pressure on your head because it kind of molds to your head properly. So yeah, that's all good. Now, let's try it with a full-size filter, because this is where sometimes these masks have problems. That when you put a heavier, bulky full-size filter on, does the mask still stay safely airtight to your face? Because if it doesn't, there's no point in having the mask on. So, yeah, that's pressurized. Okay, so of course you always run into the problem with these sort of masks that, oh, I can't look down very far because the filter's hitting there, but that, if you have a filter mounted there, that's always a problem. So, yeah, that still seems to stick well to my face. The inner seal works quite well on my chin, and I've not even shaved recently, so that's good. Obviously you're meant to be clean shaven every day if you're using one of these for an industry kind of job. Yeah, that works quite well, but as I said, there's a bit of tension on my neck there. Now, obviously glasses test, important with either of these, because if you're like me and wear spectacles daily, you want something that will work well with your glasses. Now, this is where the MSA definitely has an advantage. These don't quite sit properly on the nose bit of this. I can wear them well enough to actually see with them, so that's better than some half-face masks, but the issue is, you know, the bridge of it won't actually go where it's meant to go. So, glasses work to an acceptable level, but not a good one, I would say, of this mask. So, let's get that off. Let's get the mask off. To take it off now, I'm just going to actually do the back bit first, and then do the head bit. So yeah, this isn't a bad mask by any means, but you'll probably see in a minute why I think the MSA is better. And I think the reason as well, Laser said the MSA is better. Also, the straps on the MSA, much tougher. I don't think these would break as easily. So, we're going to do the same thing again, where, although actually I think with this one it might be easier just to put this bit over my head first. So there's that. Let's do the rear bit. There we go. So that's that on. So this looks a bit more sci-fi, which is kind of cool, but I don't think most people buy these masks with how they really look in mind. It's how well would it protect me, you know, and be comfortable for a daily job. So there's that. So, as I said, the advantage this one has is 2 dual exhale valves, although you can cover them quite easily actually to do a pressure check, so that's alright. But when you breathe out, it is a bit better on this, because I would rather have the air flow out both sides if possible. Works a bit better. Also, you have to judge for yourself when I'm talking in this video which one you think is better in that regard. Now, if I get my glasses again, they fit better with this one, as you will see, because the nose bit isn't as bulky now. So if we tuck the glasses, there we go, behind there, what I can do with this one, which you might be able to see when I just get it all lined up, is they, although again, they're not perfect, they sit closer to where they would normally sit on my face. So, that's good, because what that means, obviously, is it's more natural if I'm looking through my glasses, and it will also depend a bit on your frames, of course, depending on what sort of frames you have and the shape of the lenses and everything in your glasses. Some may work better than others. But, yeah, for me at least, the glasses sit much better with these than they do with the Scott mask. So let's do the same thing we did with the filters. Try the first one, which we know is going to work fine anyway. So there we go. As you can see, still pressurised. Now this one, although it still does dig into my neck a bit like all these masks do, I don't think it digs in as much. So it's more comfortable in that regard. But overall, this does feel a bit more durable to me. Now what we're going to do now is we're going to put the heavier filter on and see how it performs then. I think both of these masks don't recommend filters over 400 grams. I think these Mask Pro filters are about 350, 360 grams. Right, so here we go. So, yeah, there you go. Both masks basically work fine, so it's not like one's glaringly flawed, you know, one's perfect. Both have pros and cons, but personally I think I prefer the MSA one. As I said, they're both around the same price, but the MSA one just feels a bit more durable to me. There's nothing wrong with the Scott one though, some people might prefer it. But for me, this one just feels a little bit more solid. It works better with my glasses, which is a big thing for me. And you know, one of the other main things I like on this is the dual exhale valve, because it means that, you know, when you breathe out, that works a bit more smoothly. Also, if you're interested in how it's adjusted, you pull this bit up, there you go, that's that bit sort of hinged, and what you can then do is adjust the straps, pull bits through. It's probably easier if you've not got the mask on, and it means that, you know, the strap isn't sort of tightly held in place, so you can pull one bit there, adjust how tight it is or loose it is. then you push that back closed. There we go. And that's clasped again. But yeah, it's a weird system to adjust this one because I haven't seen many with this sort of system. But it works quite well actually. But yeah, there you go. There are both of the half face masks. So there are pros and cons to either one. The I would say the Scott does have a more comfortable top head harness bit because the MSA Advantage does just have the you know, like cheapy sort of plastic bit. Also, just to bear in mind, the MSA Advantage I have in a size small, the Scott one I have in a size large. If I just take the filters off and compare these two masks, I think they look almost the same size. So bear in mind, you know, with masks it doesn't always seem to be a universal sizing thing. Yeah, look at that. This is a large, this is a small. There's barely any difference in them. Both fit me fine. If I put them that way, you can see maybe a bit more difference between how the top of the nose bridge bit goes there. So yeah, that's the weird thing with these, is if I put them that way you can maybe see the difference a bit more obviously, but again, I think it was a case of I would have got this in medium, but the medium was out of stock and I wanted to get one. So yeah, with things like valve durability, neither of them have broken, so I don't know. But yeah, overall I definitely prefer the MSA, but there's not all that much in it. If you can get hold of one and not the other, or one is drastically cheaper than the other, then I would just go for the cheaper one. But both I think are quite good. And it seems to me to be a real shame that there aren't more half-face respirators built in 40mm. But of course the cynical part of me knows why that is, and it's simply because if you make masks and you build proprietary filters for them, people have to keep buying your filters. Whereas if you build ones in 40mm, they have lots of different brands they can choose from of 40mm filters, so it's cheaper for the consumer in the long run and not as good for your company. It would be, you know, if like all printers had a universal kind of printer ink cartridge, companies would never want to do that. So there you go, it's a shame you don't get more half-face respirators in 40mm. Both of these are good, but personally, unless you can get one massively cheaper than the other, I would always go with the MSA, just because it does feel a bit more durable. That's mainly the only reason, and for me personally, my glasses fit better with it. But a big thank you again to Laserpoint Production for donating quite a lot to the channel, and recommending this sort of video idea for me. It was quite fun to do. But either of these masks I think you'd be perfectly happy with if you had to get one and couldn't get the other.